All right, what's up, guys? So Josh and I today, it's the Tuesday before we compete at the Nationals. It's a 2-day show. The most important part of the show is Friday. Friday is the prejudging. So for anybody who doesn't know a whole lot about competing, that's when basically the majority of the show is determined. Honestly, occasionally they'll move around the top 5 after that. Most of the time they don't. And then after that, the only thing that matters is people that are class winners, that are the overall winners, then they compare with the other overalls. So you're really trying to peak and look your best for Friday. And then depending on how well you do specifically, you're going to come back for the night show one way or other. You want to look good, but especially if you're competing for a class, then you want to come back and look good, because ultimately you're going to compete against the other class winners. So the context right now is we're about as depleted and dead as we get. We've basically been in some sort of calorie deficit for 3 months plus, but that's all part of the game. So one, to get ourselves to the level of conditioning that we're at now, which I think both of us is kind of an all-time best, so we're really pleased about that. Everybody kind of says it, but for those who know, we're definitely as flat as you can possibly get, which is no big deal. People complain about being flat during prep like it's a bad thing. That just means that your glycogen levels aren't as full as they could be, and if they were as full as they could be, you wouldn't really be in a deficit. So yes, we're flat. That means we don't have much glycogen in our muscles. So what that means is near impossible to catch a pump at this point in time. If anything, honestly, our skin is a little bit loose. You don't have quite as much muscle separation. And I just say all that where it's, for people competing, that's normal. It's still, to a certain degree, messes with your head a tiny bit. Because honestly, every bodybuilder has mental problems. Like if I could just wave a magic wand and be full and shredded all the time, of course I would, but that's just part of the game. So it's a lot of people make mistakes, I think, when they prep, where as soon as they get flat, they're like, oh, I need to refeed, I need to fill up, because they heard that from someone somewhere. And there's a time and a place for that for sure, but the majority of your prep, especially the last 5-6 weeks, 80% of the time you should be flat, in my opinion, because that just means, again, you're in a deficit, you're dropping body fat. So really the goal for today, kind of a boring workout, if there is such a thing. All we're looking for is some quality contractions. We're not necessarily using teeny tiny baby weights, but nowhere near max effort, max intensity, max loads. And so all we're really trying to do is use some weights that'll probably maybe 50-60% of what we would normally handle, but just kind of go completely by feel. Might even be a little bit different from body part by body part, and just looking to get some really good contractions. The rep range might be slightly higher. A lot of people go to the point where they're doing these 15 and 20 rep sets, which I personally don't think is necessary. Your rep range could be pretty similar, so most things will probably be 8 to 12. And if anything, we're just looking for really good contractions. So if we kind of overdo the good form stuff just a little bit today, that's the goal, because we're not trying to induce any muscle damage whatsoever. We're not trying to give our body anything to break down from. More than anything, a lot of people try and say like these are depletion workouts, like you're trying to deplete the last bit of glycogen. If you've been in a deficit as long as we have, like, glycogen's empty. I think the thing that you're trying to do by getting a bunch of good contractions is it's pretty much proven that training muscle contractions improves insulin sensitivity. So you can make the argument that just getting some good contractions, as soon as we get to the point to start carbing up, Josh is carbing up today, I start carbing up tomorrow, the point of these workouts is to get a lot of good contractions, so when you eat those carbs, they're more likely to go to the place that they're supposed to go. And it's not like a game changer where it's like if we didn't do this and we ate carbs, we just turn into like these fat mushes or whatever. But it does make a difference to the point where I think that's why we're gonna do it. So we're gonna do a pump session today, we'll do another one again tomorrow. And again, the whole goal of that is just accumulate some good contractions, kind of the total upper body. We stay away from lower body. The main reason for that is you can make the argument lower body tends to hold water more than the upper body. So we're really trying to not have any inflammation or move a whole lot of water or fluid around in the lower body, because that's really the most important thing for conditioning in bodybuilding, is not holding any water or body fat, most importantly, and then secondarily holding water in the lower body. So it's all upper body stuff, and just kind of go by feel. So we'll probably do 1 or 2 for chest and back, 1 or 2 for shoulders, probably just 1 for arms, and just kind of take it from there. So nothing super structured, just kind of go a little bit by feel. Workout totally should be around maybe 45 minutes or so, and then we're going to do some posing. So.